battery backup lights turned on slowly, lighting the room, which had been plunged into darkness moments earlier. Eros felt his shackles loosen. The privacy glass, which lined the left-hand side of the room, also cleared, showing the docking area in similar darkness and inactivity. Why are the comms down? I thought we had redundancies and countermeasures for this. How many people have to die before the Empire gets hold of its arrogance? How many Fargoids do you think it takes to take down a Majestic? Eros asked. Fargoids are no problem for the Empire, Doctor. We have not lost any vessels to the Zeno. Eros instantly broke out laughing, his head lowered. Bullshit, just bullshit. I know, because other than the poor form and etiquette, you're a poor liar. If you had been keeping such close tabs on me, you'd have obliterated that orca the moment you got a visual ID. I do not trust your ability to keep yourself or anyone else safe from the Fargoids. It is your arrogance that gets countless people killed. In situations such as these, I'd rather trust the ability of my pilot in that asp over all the guns and armor you have on this thing, Eros streamed. The group of people who had initially entered the room one by one began to leave, talking amongst themselves, barking orders at each other, and shouting orders down the corridors when they left the room. He looked at Seema, who met his eye. He sharply raised his head and moved his eyes, not at all inconspicuous, but clearly he told her he was planning on making a run for it. She nodded and smiled. In truth, no one was actually looking at them at this time. Eros slowly flipped one hand from his shackle and took hold of its center. As he began to slide out the second, the main power came back online, and it snapped closed in response. As the people in the room looked around, Eros jumped, taking hold of the guard on his left with his free arm. Holding onto the top of the rifle, he began to struggle. Seema followed suit, although still shackled, diving to the right into the other. Let us back to our ship and leave. Guards? The woman was interrupted by the ship's PA system. All crew, battle stations, Condition Alpha, multiple Fargoid Interceptor-class vessels just dropped in on us. Fighter pilots report to your assigned stations. Everyone to your stations, and guards, if you kill them, you kill them. We have our data. I guess you were right all along, Doctor. The woman turned and left as Eros and Seema scuffled with the guards. You don't need to do this. You need to get off this ship. They aren't ready to fight the Fargoids. The guard fighting with Eros stopped and began tapping out to signal resignation. Eros began to let off. You need to get to a fighter or a ship and just get the hell out of here. Don't fight. They'll only come after you if you fight. The guard looked at Eros as he loosened his grip. He quickly headbutted him and fired his rifle at the other guard and Seema. Dazed slightly, Eros resumed fighting the best he could, wrapping himself around the guard tightly and attempting to choke him. He heard him scream out briefly as Eros heard a thud, as Seema had just clubbed him with the rifle. Come on, we need to go. Seema stood, rifle in her still shackled hands. Without saying a single word, Eros sprung towards the door through which they originally came. Their asp was only a matter of a minute or so away. Gliding down towards the loading bay, the area was largely abandoned. Where is everyone? Eros thought to himself. He had expected a flurry of people moving around, guards trying to stop them. Instead, there was almost nothing. Eros's remlock activated, perhaps answering his question, as his steady drift towards the bay turned into a more rushed event, being drawn by the airflow. Eros stopped himself with a grab bar and looked back as Seema awkwardly did the same, letting out a muted moan. Keep going. The flow isn't bad. We can easily make it, Eros shouted, as the air began to thin, and so with it, the rush.